Hello everyone and welcome back to Half Magic Tarot. Today's pick a card reading is your next shocking change. So the next thing that will take you by surprise in your life. There are 4 piles to choose from. I suggest selecting the pile based on the pile marker that sparks a memory in you. So for example, I would choose pile 4, the 2 of Swords, because I have a little sister who is almost 16 years younger than me, so huge age difference. And I am 27. I grew up listening to Britney Spears, love Britney Spears, and so I gave her the education on Miss Spears, and I have this memory of her having maybe like her 7th birthday party or something. She had a bunch of these girls from her class over, and they put on the music video for Oops, I Did It Again, and they were all like trying to follow her dance moves. But if you know that music video, you know Britney wears this red like leather suit in it, which reminds me of what the person in this card is wearing. So that is why I would choose that pile. I will put the timestamps in the description down below, so feel free to pause the video now to select your pile. Let's get started. If you selected pile 1, the 4 of Wands, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the World in reverse, the Wheel of Fortune, the Ace of Swords, the Hanged Man, and the 10 of Swords in reverse. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Lunasa and Yule. Alright, my pile 1, so what is the next shocking change in your life? We're starting off the spread here with this World in reverse. And so what I'm hearing is that recently you felt like you've fallen behind on some milestones in your life. For example, maybe you feel like you should be in a romantic relationship right now, or you should have been married by now, or you should have had children, or you should be more established in your career, you should make a certain amount of money. Whatever it is, you feel like you have just not made it there. You feel like you've put all your resources into trying to create this life for yourself and nothing has come into fruition. And so you're feeling very pessimistic about your ability to make these things happen for yourself. But the good news is that it's followed up by this Wheel of Fortune card, which is a card about how life always has its ups and downs, but your wheel is starting to turn and soon you will be on the top. So you will be experiencing good luck in these areas where previously you have experienced defeat or loneliness or feeling like you're not good enough or you don't have the correct resources to have these things. The universe is saying you don't have to do anything special to earn them. You don't have to try harder. This is something that is meant for you and it's going to come into your life. And you can see that reflected in the cards that follow this, which is the Ace of Swords and the Hanged Man. So the Ace of Swords is a card that slices through. It brings clarity, it brings intention, it brings the truth of a situation. And so when the Ace of Swords is facing this Hanged Man like it is, this indicates that it is slicing through this feeling of stagnation or this feeling like you are always going to be uncomfortable or feel like you do not have the upper hand or feel like your life is upside down. So this Wheel of Fortune is telling you it's not always going to be this feeling of defeat or like you're falling behind. Soon you are going to feel like, this feeling of stagnation has been sliced away and you end up at the very end with this 10 of Swords in reverse. So 10 of Swords upright is really a card of painful defeat, and it can be very like psychologically painful, mentally painful. So for a lot of you, I think that this thing in the beginning of your spread that's represented by the World in reverse has been something that has been really troubling you mentally. Maybe you've cried a lot about it, you've been feeling depressed about it, whatever it is, and you just feel like it's unfair and you don't really see a way out of it. When it comes out in reverse like this indicates the road to recovery. It says that you've been through the worst of it. It can only go up from here. So in this particular area of your life, your next big change is that you are going to move out of this feeling of stagnation or like you can't do it, and start to recover, and everything will start to look up. And in particular, for a lot of you, I do think that this is specifically to do with your finances or your career. The reason why I say that is because the first, which is wisdom card we have here, Lunasa, is a card about prosperity, which it can be about, material wealth. So getting a promotion, getting a new job, getting a higher paying job, being recognized for all your hard work that you've been putting in at your job, things like that. But it doesn't necessarily have to be about the job. I think the viewer of this pile will kind of know what this particular area of your life is that has had you bogged down. And the second witch's wisdom card here is Yule, which is rebirth. And this is all about rebirth, as you can imagine. It's about things starting to grow again, which I think is really indicated by the turn in this Wheel of Fortune and also by the Ten of Swords coming out in reverse. Now, for some of you, as I said, I do think that this could be about romance. Maybe you feel like you're just falling behind, like you are not getting the kind of romantic offers that you want, or you've experienced maybe a setback in some kind of life goal, like maybe you've recently been divorced or you've had a breakup with someone that you thought you were going to marry, and you've been feeling like, I don't really see how I can move past this for a while. But with the pile marker that you selected here, this Four of Wands, this is traditionally seen as like a wedding card. And so this could indicate that you will meet the person that you are going to marry, or meet someone that you would like to marry. And the Four of Wands, even if this is not really a love or relationship reading for you, indicates stability. And in particular, it's stability that feels good. It feels exciting. It feels new to you. So this is not something that you have to work super hard for. It's something that comes naturally, that comes freely, that makes you feel emotionally fulfilled, but also that you can rely on. This is something that is not wavering. And so I think the change from this feeling of defeat, this feeling of I'm never going to accomplish this thing in this area of life that I really want, to this clarity that, wait, things are starting to change. I don't have to be stuck in this situation like I thought I did. I don't have to be crying over it anymore, like the worst of it is behind me, to feeling like now I have this thing that I really love that I feel secure in. Whether that's, again, a new job, a higher paying position, a new romantic relationship. I do see that happening for you, my pile ones, and that is beautiful. So that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 2, the Ace of Wands, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the Four of Swords, the Hermit, the Chariot, the Knight of Cups, and the Ace of Cups. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Ritual and Athame. Okay, my pile 2, so what is the next shocking change in your life? We're starting off your spread with the Four of Swords, and what I'm hearing is that for a lot of you, you have been feeling lonely recently. There's been this feeling like you were kind of on the outside looking in, like everyone else seems to have more companionship in their life, or other people get to be seen on an emotional level, on a spiritual level, whereas you feel like you don't really have anyone who understands you necessarily. You definitely feel like you are at a distance from the people around you. And for a lot of you, for most of you, I think that this is in particular about romantic relationships. For others of you, this is just about friendships and feeling like you just don't have that close connection where you can feel truly seen. You feel left out. You feel like the world is going on without you and you're going to be left behind or forgotten. And that's really compounded by the second card in this reading, which is the Hermit. And this is a card that is about being alone. And the thing is with the Hermit is that this is not necessarily a negative card. Being alone doesn't mean that you are lonely, although I do think with this particular Four of Swords here that this pile has been experiencing loneliness recently. But I think your aloneness, your time being self-reflective, your time having to sit with yourself and your own thoughts, has really led you to be a person who has really raised the standard of the kind of person that you will allow in your life. And it's given you a lot of time to redraw your boundaries and learn how to enforce them better. Because I'm getting the sense for this pile that you are not an easy person to get close to. You won't just let anyone in. Maybe you've been hurt in the past, in past romantic relationships and past friendships, but it's hard to get over your walls. And I think even though you do crave this connection, it's really difficult for you to let go of these barriers that you've put up as a form of self-protection. Because obviously opening yourself up to the possibility of love or friendship also comes with the territory of having to be vulnerable with another person, having to be responsible towards them, owing them time and energy, which is something that you have really kept to yourself recently. And so I think that might be very scary for you to suddenly have to let those guards down to be able to cultivate that intimacy that you so strongly crave. The good news is that the next shocking change in your life has you kind of turning this around with the Chariot in the middle of your spread here. So if you look at this card, the goddess and the chariot is moving away from this dark sky towards something lighter. And so you're moving away from the night, the loneliness that is encapsulated by this Four of Swords and the Hermit, into this beautiful sunset that's encapsulated by the Knight of Cups and the Ace of Cups that are next in the spread. The Chariot is also a card of victory and forward movement, so you are moving forward, maybe despite these fears that you have. You are continuing to progress, and I see you coming into contact with this Knight of Cups figure. So this person could be a Pisces or have a prominent Pisces placement in their natal chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. If this is a romantic prospect, this is someone who is extremely romantic. I would say that this is the most romantic court card in the tarot. This is someone who's definitely into wining and dining, into love and poetry and beauty and sensuality, and really wants to impress you. They believe in like traditional methods of courting, chivalry, if you will. So this person definitely is coming at you in a really sincere, emotionally open way. And as I said, I think that will scare a lot of you because you are not really used to that. You've had your walls up for so long because you've had to spend so much time by yourself. And maybe you've done that because you've been hurt in the past and you closed yourself off a little bit. So I think that this transition is going to be a little bit difficult for you, but ultimately it will be more rewarding than never having experienced it. Now, as I said, this does not have to be a romantic reading. So if you were more focused on friendship, let's say, than a romantic partnership, then this could be a friend coming in for you who is also could be a Pisces or have a prominent Pisces placement in their natal chart. But this person is going to be someone that you can really talk about your feelings with, that you feel like you have an emotional kinship with, someone who maybe has a creative streak. Maybe you like to do things together that are like art oriented, or you like to craft together. Maybe that's one of the things you bond over. This person could also be an extreme animal lover, so that could be another thing. Maybe they ride horses is a potential thing there, but I see you and this person bonding over maybe really enjoying more of the gentle things in life. So cuddling with animals, making art, reading poetry, having nice food, just living a soft life. And with the Ace of Cups at the end of the spread, this indicates a new emotional beginning. A lot of times when I see an Ace of Cups in a spread, I see it as the start of a new relationship, in particular, a new romantic relationship. So for a lot of you, as I said, if this sounds like it should be a love reading for you, then I do see you starting to come into union with this person. This is a friend. This is the start of a beautiful friendship. And I think that you will really enjoy your time together, and you will feel so much happier and so much more emotionally fulfilled having this person there as your sounding board. having this person there to alleviate this previous feeling of loneliness that you have been stuck in. Now, with your pile marker being the Ace of Wands, I think that this is a new person. I do not think that this is someone that you already know coming in for you. And this person will really spark your interest. I see you maybe having a shared hobby. As I said, this could be like someone who's very artsy. So maybe you have a shared interest in art or some kind of creative hobby. I'm also saying that if this is a romantic partner, this is kind of an immediate physical attraction. So this is maybe someone that you could even say like love at first sight with. Your first Witch's Wisdom card is Ritual, which is invocation. So the point of this card is basically saying that to invoke something, to invite something to inhabit you, you have to have a certain level of resiliency and strength in order to do that. And I think that really ties back in with this feeling that you've been alone for a while, and maybe you've really craved connection, but it's been difficult for you because you have learned to protect yourself so well that it's hard for you to say, okay, I'm going to let someone in. I'm going to let someone come in and see all of these parts of me that maybe I don't want them to see, because that's the only way that I can really be known in the way that I crave. And with the second card here being Athame, boundaries, I think this also is representative of kind of where you're at now, where you've already drawn all these boundaries. You've put such a distance between yourself and love or friendship or whatever it is. And now it's time to decide, are these boundaries still serving me? Is being emotionally distant going to give me the kind of relationship that I want? And the answer obviously is no. Unfortunately, you have to be vulnerable, which I know can be very scary. It's hard to put yourself out there. It's hard to be honest about your feelings and make them known and tell someone, I want to be with you. I want you to choose me. I want us to grow together and learn together. I want to get inside of your mind. But I think ultimately, as I said, this will be a really positive change for you. And I think that you will really enjoy the kind of person that you become, which is someone who feels more emotionally open, who feels a lot less alone, who feels more optimistic about the world and about people. And that is it for your reading. So thank you for watching my pile twos. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you again. Take care. If you selected pile 3, the King of Swords, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the 8 of Pentacles, the King of Cups, Judgment in reverse, the 7 of Cups, and the 6 of Cups. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Watchtower of the East and Watchtower of the South. Okay, my pile 3s, so what is the next big shocking change in your life? We're starting off the spread here with this 8 of Pentacles. And what I'm hearing for this pile is that the people in this pile are pretty big on self-improvement. So it could be that you're the kind of person who really enjoys like self-help books or listening to podcasts or just learning in general, or you like things that will help you maybe improve yourself physically, like you like doing yoga, or you like going to the gym, or you like making sure you stretch or take supplements or whatever it is. But the energy here is of someone who is so constantly working towards improvement in all areas of their life, but not necessarily because it makes them feel better, but because it feels like the people in this pile are chasing after this ideal, because maybe you harbor a self-limiting belief that you have to be perfect to your standards, whatever that perfection is. So you have to have accomplished X, Y, and Z, or you have to look a certain way, or you have to act a certain way, or you have to have these certain milestones that you've reached before you feel like you can be satisfied where you are, or you can be worthy of some other thing in your life. So for example, maybe you feel like imposter syndrome at your job. Maybe you feel like, oh, I never got a degree, or I haven't been working here long enough, or I don't work hard enough, or I'm not as smart as my coworkers, so I need to really push myself and go above and beyond in order to prove myself. Maybe you feel like I can't date anyone, or love isn't on the table for me until I look a certain way, so I have to work on improving my looks before I even go out and date. It feels like there's some part of you that believes that you are not deserving of other things until you achieve these milestones or this goal of yours that, quite frankly, I don't know that if you actually did achieve it, if you would still feel satisfied. I feel like there's never really an end, because I think that the people in this pile, the people who are watching this pile, have this energy that there's always room for self-improvement, maybe because you don't want to give anyone the opportunity to criticize you or be able to criticize anything that you've done, because you have those insecurities already. But with the Eight of Pentacles here, I feel like this is kind of reiteration of that idea. If you look at this card, the person in this card is creating a human being out of clay. And I feel like this is kind of representative of how you see yourself. Like, you are something to be molded. You're something that constantly needs to be improved and tried over and over again. And I feel like you are someone that has had a lot of growth. Maybe other people describe you as an old soul because you just seem very wise, or you seem like you've been through a lot, or you just have a lot of resilience and emotional nuance and empathy. You have all of these qualities that take thought and self-reflection in order to cultivate and grow. And I think, as I said, you really put in a lot of hard work, and this is kind of a constant daily thing for you. However, as I also said, I don't think that it is coming from a place of just enjoying the thing. It almost comes from a place of self-criticism. Like, you want to bully yourself into being better versus being more compassionate to who you were before, who you're going to continue to be, and who you will be in the future. And so the really big change for you is moving into this King of Cups energy. And the King of Cups is someone who is very patient, very compassionate. And so I think you are extending this energy towards yourself. I think you are going to start learning how to be less self-critical, to raise your self-esteem, to allow yourself to make mistakes or not be perfect immediately, to let more things roll off your back, to give yourself more time to grow and learn. Because I think this is kind of the opposite of the pile marker that you selected here, this King of Swords, which I believe is your current energy, because the King of Swords kind of removes emotion out of things. This is someone who's very cut and dry, matter of fact, and they can be blunt in a way that's hurtful if they believe that they are telling the truth. And I think that's how you've been to yourself, where, maybe you look at yourself and you're very, or yourself or your life, and you're very disappointed, or you're not satisfied with where you are. And instead of being like, well, I've already come a long way, I'm so proud of how much I've already done, and I would like to improve in the future, but being mean to myself is not going to make me get there faster. I think for you, it's almost like you're disappointed that you don't already have this thing accomplished already. Like, you feel like you're behind in some kind of way. And so I think you can be really mean to yourself. You are your biggest critic, definitely. The energies here are Scorpio and Aquarius, but I'm getting most strongly Scorpio energy here. So you could be a Scorpio or Aquarius, or have a prominent Scorpio or Aquarius placement in your natal chart, so Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. But as I said, I do see you stepping more into this King of Cups energy, where you start to extend yourself more passion. And I think maybe you start to uncover why it is that you feel the need to be so critical of yourself. Because a lot of times things like this really do stem from childhood wounds or old traumas or things in the past, or, as I said, these self-limiting beliefs that we have to be a certain way in order to experience joy or love or friendship or success or whatever it is. And This is all really reiterated in the next few cards. So we have this Judgment in reverse. Judgment in reverse is really about being overly self-critical, about really being down on yourself, despondent, feeling like you don't have anything good, there's nothing, just being overly judgmental of yourself. And that's followed up by the Seven of Cups, which is often a card about illusions. So this tells me that really all of these things that you are so critical about with yourself are things that other people are not really noticing, but it really occupies a lot of your mind. You feel like you can't have something good without also criticizing what you've done wrong. It's like I used to have this issue when I was in high school, where if I wrote an essay for class, let's say, and I always did really well with writing, I could make, I don't know, like an a 94 out of 100 on an essay, and I could not bring myself to read any of the comments on the essay because it just gave me so much anxiety and dread to think about reading all the ways in which I was not perfect, even though I did a really great job. And I feel like that might be how you feel toward yourself, except you're the one that's giving the comments. It's like you were the one who is criticizing yourself. And it fills you with dread to think about all of these things that maybe you've done wrong, when in actuality you are doing a decent job. You've done a great job. I think probably a lot of people around you find you to be a very admirable person, definitely very intelligent, eloquent, well-spoken, smart, maybe witty, funny, someone who's a very good communicator. But I don't think you see that in yourself. You still feel like you have so much more to go, or you feel like you don't know how anyone could see these good things in you because actually you have X, Y, and Z that you perceive to be wrong with yourself. But as I said, we're moving past that, because at the very end of the spread here, we have this Six of Cups. And Six of Cups is a card that is usually about looking back on the past. But in this particular card, you can see this goddess is like standing over what appears to be a grave. And so I think it's, first of all, letting go of this self-criticism, and also allowing your past selves, or the things that you've done in the past that have embarrassed you or made you feel like you're not good enough, letting them die. Letting these older versions of yourself die, letting yourself know that you are always evolving and changing just by existing. You don't have to overexert yourself trying to be better, because you're already better off than you think you are. And also with the Six of Cups here, I think there's really a message about tapping into that inner child, because as I said, I think a lot of this self-criticism probably does stem from your childhood or some traumas that are in there. And I think that you might want to practice speaking to yourself as you would speak to the child version of yourself. It's very hard to look at a child, if you're a decent person, hopefully, and, tell them everything that's wrong with them. Like, you would not go up to a 6-year-old and tell them, oh, you're ugly, or you're never going to be successful, or you're not smart enough, or everyone thinks you're stupid. But you probably, well, for some people in this pile, you probably say some of those things to yourself. And so you might want to take a step back and think, like, would I talk like this to the child version of myself? Why am I continuously cutting them down or hurting them? Because that version of you is a part of you. It's like a little Russian nesting doll. That part of you is still inside of you. So why aren't you nurturing it? Why aren't you taking care of it? And I think that maybe this is kind of like a mental breakthrough that you have, where you kind of have this shift. So maybe you go to therapy, or you tape a picture of yourself up on a picture of your child self up on your mirror, and every time you want to say something mean to yourself, you go and you think about that child version of yourself and you try to be more gentle. But I think that this mindset shift is really going to help you improve a lot, and it's also coming through in the oracle cards that we have here, these Witch's Wisdom cards. The first one is Watchtower of the East, which is spring. And spring is the season of rebirth. So I think this is you, like in the Six of Cups, letting go of these past memories, but also knowing that they're still a part of you. You're still growing, you're still evolving, you're still changing, and it doesn't have to be a detrimental process. It doesn't have to be emotionally difficult. It doesn't have to make you upset. You can still be gentle with yourself and grow as a person. And that's really what the Watchtower of the South card, this summer card, is about. Summer is about abundance. All of these new things coming in for you, about this growth that happens, this spark that reignites in you. So I think that you will end up being a lot happier and feeling like you have a lot more of yourself to offer. You seeing the beauty of the qualities that you already have once you decide to be a little bit more gentle with where you're at now. All right, my pile threes, that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 4, the Two of Swords, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the Ten of Pentacles, the Devil, the Magician in reverse, the Two of Swords, and Death. For your Witch's Wisdom cards, we got Pentacle and Hand Fasting. All right, my pile 4s. So what is the next shocking change in your life? This is definitely about romance, love, whatever. So this is really for my singles, or maybe people who have not been in the kind of committed relationship that they would like to be in a while. And we start off the spread here with this 10 of Pentacles. And this is all about stability. 10 is the highest number card that you can get in any suit in the tarot. And so this is like the completion of the suit of Pentacles, which is all about stability, as I said, but also making a home, putting down roots. And so I feel like for a lot of you, you have maybe been craving on some level to have the kind of romantic partnership that you could see as being long-term. Like you want to find your person that you could see yourself maybe marrying, having a family with, having generations of family with, living together, being together for the rest of your life. Someone that you can rely on to be there. And you also want, with the next card in the spread here, this Devil, you want a lot of physical chemistry with this person. So maybe you've been missing out on that for a while as well. But it feels like you want both of these things. And I also get the sense that for a lot of you, you feel like that has been really difficult to find. It's like maybe you can find someone that you have a lot of physical chemistry with, or maybe someone who just wants a purely physical relationship but doesn't actually want to be there for you or be responsible to you anyway or have any kind of commitment. Or maybe there's people that would be willing to date you or be in a committed relationship with you who seemingly kind of want to give you all of these things, but you just don't feel attracted to them at all. So it feels like, am I ever going to find someone that I'm attracted to who is also attracted to me, who would be like a good romantic partner? And it honestly just would feel like a miracle to you if it would happen. You want someone who also likes you at least as much as you like them. You don't want it to be a power imbalance, which I think is something that you maybe are used to in your romantic relationships in the past, or maybe you feel like you have been the person who is more emotionally invested and you are just not interested in doing that anymore. You don't want to feel like you are chained. You want it to feel like an equal partnership where you really see all these sides of each other. And as I said, for a lot of you, I'm getting the sense that you have almost given up on this. You You just don't think it's going to happen. It doesn't feel realistic, doesn't feel logical. And that's really coming through in the Magician in reverse in the middle of your spread. Magician is about manifestation. So in reverse, it's really feeling like you don't have the tools, or it's just not going to happen. Like, it does not seem possible. It doesn't seem like whatever you do, whatever you try, whatever you wish, I just don't think it's going to happen. And I was actually having a very similar conversation to this with my friend yesterday. Not to get like too emo about it, but basically she was telling me that when she was younger, she would fantasize about when she would get married or have a family and have kids, and she thought that she would have already been married at the age that she is at now. And I was thinking about it, and I said, I never really fantasized about a wedding, never planned my wedding, never really thought about getting married, because I kind of had this belief, even from a child, like I really felt like I didn't think it was possible for me. I didn't think that anyone would ever want to marry me or be in a relationship with me, really. And I am single right now, so I'm not wrong necessarily. It feels like a bigger burden for me, or there's more barriers for me than most people. So maybe you feel a very similar way, where you feel like, I just don't want to delude myself into hoping for something that's not going to happen. But as I said, this is your next shocking change. So this is not just, confirming this belief that you have. Actually, it's the opposite, because the next card we have is this Two of Swords. And the Two of Swords you have both as your pile marker and in this pile. And it's really interesting, the difference here. So in the pile marker one that you selected, this person has their two swords crossed over their heart. They have a blindfold on. And in this Two of Swords, this is really about indecision, keeping people at bay, not allowing yourself to open up to a romantic relationship, or feeling like, maybe it's safer to reject it or reject the possibility by giving up on it before it has the chance to reject me, if that makes sense. And this Two of Swords that's showing up in your spread kind of has a little bit different of a meaning based on this card. So the goddess that's represented in this card is the goddess of agreement. So she's kind of looking on these two men that are shaking hands. And if you see, the two swords in this card are not crossed anymore. These people are getting along. They're coming together in a union. They have a mutual respect for each other. And also, if you look, they have what appears to be like a cloth over their hand, which really also coincides with the Witch's Wisdom card that we pulled, this Oracle card, hand fasting, which is about romantic union. So we move from you feeling like you have to pretend like you don't want this thing, or act as if you don't care, or kind of get rid of this desire for connection in yourself, to actually maybe having that connection come into your life. And that's also represented here by the last card in the spread, this Death card, which is a card that is all about change. It's about cutting off what is no longer serving you to open new doors. And so I do see there being some movement or some change in your romantic love life, where maybe this thing that previously felt impossible is going to start coming into fruition, or there's going to be some possibilities emerging here. Now, in particular, this person that might be coming in for you could be a Scorpio, or have a prominent Scorpio placement in their natal chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. So for that first Witch's Wisdom card we got, this says Pentacle or respect. And so I think this is really about, you are going to be able to find someone who respects you as you are and is not trying to change you, does not make you feel less than, does not make you feel like you are unworthy of love, does not make you feel like you should just give up. And I think that really coincides with the Ten of Pentacles feeling here of someone who is reliable and responsible and wants to be there for you. And as I previously mentioned, the other witch's wisdom card here is hand fasting, which is union, which again is all about romantic union. And it's romantic union that has a sense of responsibility to each other. It's about commitment. It's about coming together. It's about romance. It's about love. And so I think you really do get the best of both worlds here, where you have someone who is committed to you, but who is also very emotionally open with you, someone who is willing to compromise and work with you, someone who does not cut you down, and someone who kind of restores this belief in love that maybe you have been doubting recently or for the past however long. So congratulations, my Pile Force. That is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care.